I'm not trying to drag it into politics, but I just saw a picture of her at the parade, at the Pride parade. So it's like
Rose nominee.
Yeah, I get it, but like
that's how this happened.
I don't know. The right has like and such that they don't
but Trump doesn't go to their marches.
They're on the edges.
He's disavowed him so many times, my friend. You know he has.
He told no.
Trump. I've literally heard him be like, "Are we still talking about this?" Yes, all white supremacists, the Klan, the Proud Boys,
this is the two-step, man. Then he'll turn around and be like, David Duke, I don't really know that guy. He endorsed me, huh? Is he cool?
Wait, do you really see the KKK as like a real cultural thing in 2024 that needs addressing?
He did address it. He did not. He denounced them all.
I mean, I think
As
of the Charlottesville
this was
thing.
years ago.
That was what Unite the Right, KKK. Was it Proud Boys? They were all trying to get the Confederate monuments and flags, staying
You
where
had
they
good people
are.
on both sides. Look, clearly what you had there was some guys showed up with khakis on with like an organized thing, and then there were other people who were like, "I just thought we shouldn't tear down the park because I ate my lunch on that bench."
Yeah, I just don't like the comparison.
So
of
that
like,
was the alt-right, neo-Confederates, neo-fascists, white nationalists, neo-Nazis, Klansmen, and far-right militias got together at this Unite the Right rally. They carried Nazi symbols, Confederate flags. Some of this stuff I don't understand. Dos Volt crosses, flags, anti-Semitic and anti-Islamic groups.
Lightning bolts.
Okay. The rally was amid the controversy generated by removing Confederate monuments in the Charleston church shooting by a white supremacist. I don't know. I'm scanning.
Yeah, they do that thing every year, and the president goes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I just don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why we're.
This is the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally where that guy ran over that woman. Because you were saying, hey, do you really think like the KKK is almost real? And I'm like, well, it was kind of real at Charlottesville when all these guys got together with their.
Well, you just listed who all the other people that it was, and I didn't see anybody with the hoods on. I didn't see any Klansmen at that thing. I saw a lot of bad dudes with tiki torches. I remember them chanting, "The Jews will not replace it."
Well, the Ku Klux Klan was there. It looks like the Ku Klux Klan, the loyal white knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and the Confederate white knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
See, that's the thing. There is no Ku Klux Klan like there's an MLB. You and I can start our own chapter.
Is that Major League Baseball?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right,
there's like a commissioner and like a chain of command, and they got an LLC somewhere, or probably a bunch of them. Like you and me can start the RSK branch of the Ku Klux Klan. You be the Grand Wizard, I'll be the Grand Cyclops, and Taylor. What do you want?
Wow, I don't even get to be one of the.
You'll be Kugath, Slayer of the Dark.
I roll. I don't know.
Okay.
But you wear a big metal pot on your head with only one hole.
Sick.
I think there's a parallel here between the left wanting to distance themselves from real but embarrassing members like gay pride parade, dildo baton spinning people, and the right wanting to distance themselves from their real and embarrassing.
But like I think it's wildly different. That like one of them is I don't think that's close to reality. Like one of them is largely decried by everyone. People who are like, oh, like any actual like Nazis marching around, everybody didn't like that. But then you have like people waving their bare penises around at kids at like state sanctioned parades in every major city across the country. And that's encouraged by a lot of like mainstream left politicians.
It's not even that. They had a Unite the Right impromptu thing one time, 9 years ago, right?
Somebody was murdered.
2016.
That's why they stopped it. And it was a specific thing, just protect Confederate monuments.
I'm sorry, I was still going.
Okay.
So 9 years ago, they had this awful thing. I don't remember any politicians being there. I don't remember them like headlining the event. Every year we have an increasingly scarier pride parade in every major city. Not just in a tiny town in Charlottesville, was it North Carolina? I forget genuinely.
Is it Virginia?
Somewhere
Virginia.
Yeah, not some out of the way place we've all never heard of, or at least I hadn't. But in every major city, we have one of these pride freak parades. And every time I see photos from them, they're like, oh, they cherry picked that. That was anal fisting day. Don't worry about that. He's and it's funny.
Maybe
but it's
being
true.
in major cities,
I watched
you guys
a man
are
get
closer
fisted
to
on the streets of a pride parade.
To me, this pride parade is something that that exists like in San Francisco on the other side of the world. Maybe you have one in Atlanta.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. I don't think there's one in Raleigh. If there is, I just don't know about it.
Of course, there's not one. There's not one in Charlottesville either. But my point is, I don't think comparing the two is fair. And if anything, what the right is trying, what the right would want to, it's not like one group. It's just sort of racist in general. I would say that the right should distance themselves from, and then Christian nationalism is. But then who's going to vote for you once you get rid of all the Christian nationalists and all of the racists? We've only got like 8 million voters at that point. So you can't be turning people away at the door. I mean, we're a restaurant here. We're open for business. That's what it says.
Yeah, they want to be a big tent.
Yeah, big tent. All right, come all ye faithful. That sort of thing.
Well, I guess that is what democracy is.
I mean,
to make the biggest.
But from the left, it's not even the gays the gays. I have a problem with the gays. It's the crazy, it's the kid stuff. It's the kid stuff every time. And they'll be like, hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's like, I agree. Have fun doing it. Why are those children watching you do it? Oh, they love to watch. That one's crying. What?
Yeah. Why are you walking around naked?
The rights version of that is those child pageants, which I despise as well. Those little girl beauty pageants, that's creepy, and no one should be behind that. I mean,
should we make an exception?
Businessman doing business when he does it, but anybody else.
Kyle, I know you and I are free speech absolutists, but I think we need to draw the line at child pageantry. You good with shutting that down?
Sexualizing minors is I'm a hard pass on that in general. I think kids should be kids. I think that they shouldn't. I mean, they shouldn't be informed on any concept of like sex or gender or sexuality at any age. Like when I grew up, there were like tomboys. There'd be like some girl who didn't know that she had a vagina and that we had dicks, and she'd be wearing overalls and throwing mud clods with us all. But it didn't mean that she was a boy or that she was gay. That girl's married. She was a pitcher. She was an incredible athlete. She was just a big boned girl who was raised in a family of boys. But that didn't mean she was a boy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she couldn't pitch baseball. I don't know. Shit, maybe.
You were really painting her out as like one of the boys. I was like, I just gotta
girl. I'll see if I can find a photo. I'd have to dig around on Facebook somewhere. I don't know.
What's her full name?
She is a big bitch. It was like, oh my God, you are bodacious for a white girl. She was like 5'10", maybe 175 pounds. And
an like athlete's build, it seems like
a real, tremendously athletic build.
I can't
very powerful.
But
so I despise those flag burning people. I kind of, when I watch them do it, the reptilian part of my brain wants some to like come out of nowhere and blindside them. Remember those commercials with like the linebacker, the office linebacker, and if you were like flirting with a girl at the water cooler, he'd come and like blindside you. I want them to accidentally set themselves on fire while they're doing it. That would be wonderful. That's the whole point of the First Amendment. They've got the right to burn that flag. If there's some ordinance about starting fires in the park, that's a different story. But if anything,
that really is. There's no way that slipped past the goalie for this many years.
It seems like they stole that. In that instance, they stole a flag and destroyed it. And probably in a place where you're not allowed to make small fires of any kind. So they probably broke 2 or 3 little laws. But as far as like a law against burning the flag, I'm not up for that. You burn it if you want to.
But if you sneeze on a trans flag, you're going to jail for a few years.
That's a different story. That's a hate crime, sir. That's hate crime legislation. We send you to a special prosecutor for that. Guess who picks him?
I agree with like every syllable what Kyle said. I hate it with all my heart. I do also think there shouldn't be any law against it. And I also see it from another side where the flag burners are always like more blue team than red team, right? I don't see very many Republicans burning flags at all. So I'm like, you're making us look bad. Would you just stop? Yeah. Like, if you want to be anti-supporting Israel, I can get on board with that. I can see arguments for the U.S. not getting themselves in this war. I get it. But why are you burning the U.S. flag as a way to make your point? That's a bad look. You're not convincing people.
And it's not compelling because they're the same people that Scott's right. Like if at that same protest, someone like burned a gay flag, they would be like calling the cops to have that person arrested for being hateful. Like they're like safe edgy. And they're burning the American flag. How crazy! That's so wild. You're gonna get in so much. Oh no, you're not. Like it's ridiculous, and it's disgusting to see. I don't like it. Like
I don't like it.
We're American,
but that's not the question, right?
You should be able to.
Like it.
Just like you should be able to burn the gay flag if that's what you want to do without going to jail.
If it's yours. If it's yours,
yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure if I burnt my own gay flag, then nothing would happen to me.
Probably.
I think
depends where you
I
went.
think we're just making this up. Like, no one would actually call the cop. Like, nothing would happen.
I mean, people have gotten arrested for like driving, like burning out over the gay crosswalks.
Well, that's different.
That's not the same as burning your own property, or like they'd have
gotten arrested no matter what was painted on those crosswalks.
Really?
They're reckless driving out there. They're doing donuts in the intersection, Taylor. Like, I don't know why we painted.
You don't think that's cool?
Look, frankly, I don't know why we're painting the road with the LGBTQ fucking flag. It's paint it white and yellow so we can see that shit. What are you doing? Why is there
white? Why not black?
Jesus, Kyle, exactly. Why aren't crosswalks black, huh?
Because black absorbs light and white reflects.
Wow, get a load of this, not this Hitler we have. A regular Hitler.
But that is why they're burning the flag.
I think the stoplights should be black.
They see see the United States inviting someone who they view as a literal Hitler in Bibi Netanyahu, someone who's engineering this genocide of 65,000 people or something now, and is doing his best to annex land, and I could be wrong about this. I don't follow their politics, but wasn't his referendum or whatever, his like time in office up, but he's extended it because of we're at war or whatever.
Yes.
Didn't he avoid prosecution of some sort?
That's why he's staying in power, and that's also why he let's just say he at least has a good reason to keep this war going on and on and on. Because maybe when the war ends, he loses power, and maybe when he loses power, he goes to jail. So on the other side, these people are saying they're people being. I've seen some rough shit. I've seen a bunch of burn up kids, man, and like not just like 4th degree, like why don't you just cut those legs off kind of burns. And if you're seeing that shit and you're feeling that, then I could definitely see why you might want to burn a flag when we invite that guy, roll out the red carpet, and then all of our politicians fucking bend over. At least we didn't have Kamala wheel out the Israeli flag like she did for Ukraine, and stand behind Zelensky.
I can get what you're saying, and like I switch back and forth between like boomer conservative, like if they did that around me, I'd put it like and also like whatever, it's just a flag. But like my issue is, it's not just the politicians that they are yelling death to America for. It's not the concept of America. It's literally like in their heads, like we're all tax-paying Americans. At least on record, we're tax-paying Americans, and fucking like because we pay our taxes at gunpoint, mind you, we're adding to the genocide, and it's like that's like what else do you want me to do? They'll fucking shoot me if I don't.
Yeah, they'll throw me in prison if I don't pay my taxes. I have no control over what they're going to use the money for. Like it's not going to be spent on stuff we want.
You can just say, I voted for the other guy, okay? Like Donald Trump would not be funding this war. It's far too expensive.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
That man knows how to pinch a penny, okay? And if anything, he'd be like,
none of this is remotely
That's why he
true.
and BB are so close.
Oh, the truth hurts, doesn't it, Woody?
The truth would feel great. This hurts.
If anything, Donald would make a deal with Bibi Netanyahu, and he's like, look, if you're going to annex, what is it, 950 square miles? How about we get half? How about you give half of it to us? How about I get to build my resorts there? How about we put American properties there? How about I put a few bases over there? I'd love a new base in the Middle East.
Just doesn't tie in with his record, Kyle. His silliness.
Oh my God, he's a 4D chess playing mastermind running the world. They show him at the G20 and everybody's plotting, and he's just sitting there masterminding, pinky in the brain
he's
style.
Like trying to stand in front of people, bumping shoulders with them.
Oh, that was alpha as fuck. When he knocked the fucking Duke of Belgium out the fucking way, it's like, what do you think you're doing, Duke?
I'm sorry, your lordship.
Belgian
Trump is like, pay attention to me. I want to be the cool kid.
He's representing us, all right? And the last thing I want is some panty-waisted pussy who's like letting the Duke of Belgium cut in line in front of him and stand in front of the picture and like throw up Belgian gang signs, whatever that shit looks like.
That's so true. That's all happened.
You know what? This is how it happened. It's not another fucking fever dream.
No, it's totally true.
I seen it happen. You roll the footage, Zach. Trump's like alpha as fuck coming in. He throws on some sun. It's cool as shit. Did you see? Look, he has looked pathetic. He has looked petty. He has looked arrogant. He has looked ignorant. But this was not one of those instances. When he saluted the North Korean general, throw that one at me. I got nothing for that shit. But when he bumped,
did you see how many medals the guy had? He was a war hero.
Yeah, it's true. But if he won those medals legitimately, that means he killed Americans winning them.
He earned them all in one battle.
Yeah, like he fought, a really busy Thursday.
He's been fighting us since MASH was on. It's the 1950s when the Korean War was.
Yeah. Did you see during the Netanyahu speech? Every time Netanyahu comes into town, the American politicians are like seals, like giving so many standing ovations. It's frankly humiliating. And at one point, Netanyahu got like peeved at how much they were applauding him, like Stalin-esque applause, like they didn't want to sit down and be the first one seen not applauding. And Netanyahu's like, stop applauding, listen. Like the way you would talk to like children if you were a teacher, like, hey, bitches, hey, you're all my bitches. Remember that? Shut up and let me talk. This is about me right now and about you doing what I want. Yeah,
another alpha. Like I get why you like him. You don't have to sell me on Bibi Netanyahu.
My favorite guy.
He commands a room. That's what you want in a despotic leader.
Yeah, he commands an enormous amount of foreign politicians, seemingly.
Yeah, Taylor, I agree. I wish I knew the mechanics of why Netanyahu got so much respect, and it's seemingly like universal. Everybody except Ilhan Omar. Like there's probably two other exceptions.
You're like, you killed my cousin.
yeah.
It's just like it's
like not even a blue-red thing. You know, like it's a U.S. government thing. And my theory is that, you know, you give aid to Israel and they give campaign contributions back. And I think it was Hutch who said AIPAC is not a big contributor, but I don't know. I can't prove it. I don't have any real facts, but I'm like, why are we so fucking lined up?
AIPAC is an enormously powerful political entity, and they donate to.
But why are they?
Because they give money to politicians.
Okay, then why don't other people just give money to politicians and become incredibly powerful? Like the argument doesn't work. And I'm not saying it's not wrong to some extent, but like, why isn't there a group from fucking Ireland that's just getting their asses kissed over there? Like they don't have the money?
I have a theory.
Some countries do. How much money does Israel have, and where did they get it?
Let me reply, because the NRA is very, very powerful, but they don't contribute a lot of money to politicians. I think what the NRA brings is a lot of voters. When the NRA says, this is our guy, this is his rating on guns, people look at that and change their vote. I have to imagine that there's something like that happens in AIPAC too, that it's not just dollars, it's influence.
But you've never seen it. I've never seen the AIPAC come and like tell my voting bloc that, hey, this guy's 2.5 stars and they're blue Israeli stars. It says 2.5 stars of David. He's not cutting it these days. He's not cutting the mustard. And
well, like that's the thing though, is how many politicians have you seen who have been like, actually, no, I want to cut aid to Israel.
That's true. None. Just Elon Omar or whatever.
Yeah, just like two. You're right. Like they clearly are very entrenched in our political process. And they obviously have a bias. All lobbying organizations do. So you like don't have to guess like, why are these politicians who are taking money from AIPAC, doing stuff pro-Israel? I don't know. The same reason the ones that take money from the NRA do stuff pro-gun. Like they're going to do that. That's what their job is. They're buyable and sellable to the highest bidder. Right here, Politico, AIPAC is biggest source of GOP dominations or GOP donations during Dem primaries. GOP dominations. They do seem to dominate the GOP. Yeah, they're enormously big in how much they donate. And to the Democrats, too. It's not just to the
Republicans. I was about to say, then why are the Democrats why is Fetterman in a suit? Right? If it's that, it seems to be bipartisan bending over.
That suit shit's embarrassing, honestly. Like I don't care about the applause. That's just good manners. Taylor, you must have been super plugged in over the weekend. Your favorite person in the world came to the country. Bibi Netanyahu.
Vladimir Tarasenko. Oh,
okay. He spoke before Congress, and man, did they kiss his ass, Taylor? You'd have loved it. That Fetterman schlub, the guy who's been wearing like shorts and a hoodie for the last 4 years.
If you want to know who rules over you, See who John Fetterman puts a suit on for.
That man was looking sharp. He must have had that thing tailored or something because it fit his fat ass. And they just sucked BB off for the whole time. One of the ladies from the squad, who I know you're a big fan of, Talib or something like that. She's the one that wears the turban, I think, often.
Omar, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. One of those awful people. She had like a sign that said something about genocide. So everybody else is standing clapping, and she's holding her genocide sign. So I know that probably won some love from you over. And then I saw that there was a crowd peacefully protesting outside, and they pulled down the American flags and burnt them while they all chanted, "Burn that shit."
Did you see the cop getting dragged around, or someone like ran?
Was he mutilated?
He was mutilated, dude. Mutilated.
Was there a cop getting dragged around? I actually didn't see.
Yeah. He was like trying to stop one fight, and then like someone grabbed him, was yanking him around. The cop didn't look big enough, and I think it might have been a girl cop. Another tally in favor of we need big, heavy, strong boys in positions as police officers. Can't have girls doing it. I'm sorry, everyone. Girls can go do all sorts of important jobs, finger painting.
I'm normally a news junkie, and I'd be tied in on this, seeing every video, but I have a newfound Elden Ring addiction, so I'm a little off the grid.
When we talk about gaming later, I want to revisit that.
Okay.
Scott, did you watch any of these bad eggs causing problems yesterday?
I saw a couple of things on Twitter, them pulling down the flags and stuff like that. I didn't know about that cop getting dragged. You know, that's pretty crazy. Mutilated.
Sorry, Hutch. It's just fun.
Hutch was so Hutch. I don't know if I wish we had asked the audience to vote who they thought won the argument, Hutch or Dick Masterson. Clearly, Hutch won every single engagement they had, but like in reality. But I bet it didn't feel like that to some people. But yeah, back to the flag thing. I was thinking about this earlier as I talked to myself a lot. Probably too much. And I was thinking about how there are aspects of the Second Amendment that people try to sort of pick away at, whether it's universal background checks or whatever. And I don't like that. And I feel the same way about the First Amendment.
All my beliefs politically have to do with what I believe would help the American public and the average American person. Wars in Ukraine do not help the average American citizen. Wars in the Middle East and promoting them and funding proxy wars does not benefit the average American citizen. We have enough problems on our plate domestically with our border and insert whatever, the opioid crisis, grocery, like whatever you want to put in there. The issue is that our government seemingly has no thought in their head that they should be prioritizing how American people live and what benefits them. And any sort of government that is worth its salt should be entirely and totally dedicated to the increase of life quality of their citizenry.
Well,
if it's not populist, not a valid government.
You're engaged in this populist rhetoric that's become like really common in right-wing circles now. And I hear this argument a lot, where it's like we shouldn't give Ukraine aid when we have homeless veterans, and yet when you see legislation like the PACT Act go up, you see which expanded healthcare access to veterans that was signed into law under Joe Biden, and you see every Republican voting against it. So how do you reconcile? What programs would you like to see enabled in lieu of money sent to Ukraine?
None. Universal healthcare. I would like to see universal healthcare and our borders be stringently guarded and illegals deported. We need that sort of thing to take care of our citizenry, the United States. That's the only thing our government should be caring about.
You're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar. I mean, I agree with you. I would love to see an NHS type system in the United States. Fully on board with that. It's interesting hearing that from a Republican, which again is like you're just an interesting.
Yeah, I'm not even a Republican. I've only ever voted for Trump.
Right. Or like someone who's like conservative make the argument. But, it just seems like populist Republicans like Gates and Boebert and all them and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they always engage in this rhetoric. And then when it comes time to pass some kind of social safety net program that directly benefits Americans, they always oppose it. And so it just rings so hollow to me to hear it from them.
Yeah, Republicans are gay and I don't like them. They're the worst. Republicans and at least Democrats know how to play the politics game. They're fucking idiots.
Taylor.
They can take Republicans can take an attempted assassination against their elected official and spin it into nonsense in 2 days. Like, that's how bad at politics Republicans are.
When you're on the blue side, Taylor, it feels like the inverse of that. Like, oh my gosh, like Democrats can never seem to get their messaging right. Democrats can never seem to have their act together. How do these Republicans go up there in lockstep and all agree? And Democrats can't do the messaging as well. That's how it feels looking from my side. And then earlier in the show, Taylor was saying that a certain percentage of Republicans were retarded, and that very much frustrated him. That's how I feel about Democrats. Like, I swear, if the Democratic Party aligned with most of my views, which is like, you know what, lighten up on the gun thing, that whole DEI thing, ditch that platform, let that go. That's just hurting you. It's racism on the other side. Then we would not be losing the culture wars like we do.
But wait, I feel like this is like a Fifi's over facts situation here because Fifi's? Like feelings, because like in reality, the Republican Party. I mean, listen, the Democrats right now are in disarray. There's like a meme like Dems in disarray, and it's always like okay. But right now, it's literally happening right now. There's some chaos right now for sure. There's infighting. There's uncertainty. It's like
are you agreeing
to be a Democrat? No. I'm saying it feels like Republicans always get everything they want and Democrats are always fighting. It's actually been the opposite for 6 years now, since 2018. Democrats have, I don't know about that, but particularly in the last 6 years, the Democrats have been like really unified. I mean, Pelosi did a phenomenal job of like keeping that caucus together, even with sort of like the insurgent forces like Cori Bush and Ilhan Omar and all them. Like they lined up behind the Democratic Party apparatus. And when you look at, and we've been winning elections over and over and over again, like we've just been crushing Republicans in elections. And then when you look at the Republicans, they ousted their own House Speaker for the first time in history. Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to oust the second one because he wasn't extreme enough for them. And they made Donald Trump their nominee, even though he's been like dragging the party down for 6 years, just in terms of electoral.
I think like, maybe as a Trump voter, like who's not a Republican, like I like that Trump upsets and ruins Republican plans. I like that. When they have their like little Mitch McConnell, we're going to do this and that and support Israel and that's about it and give lip service to everything else. I enjoy that he upsets them and that he causes problems in their bullshit, corrupt hierarchy. Like that, super the same way that like Trump, like I think a lot of people are like me in that they vote for Trump because he's a real fuck you vote to establishment Republicans and to Democrats and to the media and to these unelected bureaucrats in the FBI and the CIA who clearly really don't like him. And so like I don't think that can be understated. Like people talk about the silent Trump voter. It's like no, they were just people like me who weren't like MAGA hat wearing people. They're just people who are like, oh, this guy, he's hated by all these institutions and these structures that I hate. Well, fuck those structures, fuck those institutions. If they dislike him, that's my guy for now.
That goes to my point, Taylor. Like there's weaknesses in the Democratic platform that frustrate me because when Republicans say fuck you to, for example, guys being able to choose anyone being able to choose their sex, right? Like, I'm a girl now. Boom. I'm going to start participating in swimming. That makes my side look terrible and I don't like it. And I'm like, oh man, why do we have this weakness that we can't condemn or, amputate? Why do we have to sit here and defend that Penn State woman who dominated women's swimming or she was a Division I man the year before. It wasn't some like years and years of hormone therapy. Did you see her? She has a body I would kill to have. Right?
But so far that hasn't. I mean, this election, like Biden is exceptionally weak candidate, and so we'll see how that goes. But so far, that has not translated. The culture war stuff has not translated to electoral wins. They tried to run on the trans stuff in 2022.
That's why the governor of Virginia is a Republican. They sat there and ran against.
That's one incident. I mean, the governor of Virginia's situation was also that's one.
Woody running unopposed with another victory.
We've also seen Democrats flip multiple state legislatures, multiple Supreme Courts. We've seen them flip multiple gubernatorial seats. We've seen them turn Arizona and Georgia blue in 2020. Probably not going to happen in 2024, but anyways,
it frustrates me when I feel like Republicans are chasing ghosts, right? Like critical race theory, or these imaginary rapes that happen when cross-dressers go in the wrong bathroom. And I'm like, why can't we just amputate this weakness out of our platform?
You mean the trans shit? That's the weakness you want to amputate?
Yeah, because I think that it's a big part of the frustration and it's indefensible, right? Or DEI. Let's do that one, right? Why is DEI, it not a meritocracy?
That's the Civil Rights Act, isn't it? Like DEI is everything that we're now at with trans shit in sports, and DEI in general is like the inevitable culmination of how the Civil Rights Act was crafted. I mean, it's like a cornerstone of your party, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I think DEI goes a little bit further than the Civil Rights.
I see where
we're talking about like corporate structure.
Further, yeah, that's
I'm not
Civil
convinced.
Rights Act is this, so yeah, let's make it illegal to hire white people then. I mean, that's what the extension of what we've written down here is. So
yeah, it doesn't come from civil rights though. This is a kind of racism that frustrates me. Like to do the whole like these guys are excluded. I don't like that. We should just go to merit base. Now we do this thing where like we overlook people for certain races in college admissions. I know the Supreme Court ruled against that, but I like that Supreme Court ruling. Why does the Democratic platform have this non-meritocracy plank in it?
Well, so the premise there is that. Sorry, go ahead, Dick.
I was just going to say the Civil Rights Act is what gave the government the right to look at race and how people are doing like their private businesses.
No, I don't think so.
It's in the act, though. It sets up the
not true.
Affirmative action came in the 80s or 90s.
The affirmative action
Yeah.
did, but the Civil Rights Act said we can.
You're just making things up. I don't think so.
What do you think Title IX, when it says Title IX, what do you think it's referring to?
Stuff that other than that.
Title IX of the Civil Rights Act.
Well,
dude, I love that. I love that defense tactic, Woody. Stop the fucking other stuff.
Dick did for an hour. Just be like, that's not what I think.
As far as the trans stuff goes, like I think there are obvious like good faith debates to have about like sports and how we structure sports, and I'm fine with those conversations. But there was a really interesting letter that the governor of Utah, Governor Cox of Utah, wrote last year or the year before when the state legislature passed a law banning trans kids from competing in sports that correspond with their chosen identity. And
I was wrong. I really thought on the other day that Biden was going to stay in this thing and going to be there all the way. He had been so forceful about it, for one thing. It almost reminds me of the George Bush read my lips, no new taxes. And then like a few moments later.
That's your example of like, I knew it wouldn't change. Because we did get new taxes.
No, well, no, it's my example of someone like saying I'm going to do a thing very forcefully and clearly, and like literally saying read my lips, and then a week later it's like, well, actually, turns out that I'm not capable of running for president again. I'm good to run the place now, though. Don't worry about me. Wait, where have you been for 5 days? Don't worry about me. Someone sent a signed piece of paper that said, dude, we would be if our uncle or something like sent us a letter like that. If someone just showed up and was like, hey, your uncle's selling the place, just so you know, he signed here, we'd be like, I'm gonna need to see him. I don't know you. Yeah, I'm gonna need to hear from Uncle Bernie.
Wait,
Uncle Bernie, are you selling
81? Yeah, I need to see little.
You're telling me my Uncle Bernie, who's 81, is selling his house, and all I have to go on is this piece of paper signed by him. I don't know. I'm gonna need to see Uncle Bernie and hear from him about all this.
You got to get a look at Joe. I mean, he's just. I think he came out today, right? He was Burns handing around an airplane tarmac.
Was
I
it?
don't think he's been seen for 5 days.
I'm definitely not saying you're wrong. I was AFK all day.
Oh, okay. May have been an older video. I thought it was from today, but either way, I don't.
He did have dark hair.
He had dark hair. Not in the video I saw. He had white old man hair.
He had hair. This is a step up. He barely has hair.
Yeah, like, but the thing about it, Kyle, is you've got a number of big against the odds predictions up in the air right now, and so losing this little minor one, not a big deal. You could still get the Trump call from like a year plus ago, I think, is when you made.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got the Trump call down. Like the fact that they're just gonna choose Kamala to be the candidate, coronate her, if you will. It's all over. Like it's all over. There's no way. It
is all over. Trump is getting butt fucked. He hasn't let a poll.
Butt fucking is it?
Yeah, I'll double you. How confident are you? Let's make it 200.
We can make it 200 because if you look on the like what are these polls? Because I saw the Reddit
Two
headline.
more came out today.
I saw the Reddit headline like Kamala's leading in the national polls, and then I go right back to 538, and it's in so many pages of him.
That's interesting because on 538 they literally just like turned it off and said that they're not going to do it again until after the nomination. Did it change? Well, I'll go.
They turned polling off.
It says forecast suspended on 538.
Why did they do that?
Because they don't have a nominee for the Democratic Party.
Oh, I thought it was almost like foregone conclusion.
It is, but that's what the words say on 538.
Oh, she's the worst though. She's so much worse.
Dude, she is crushing it. She did a rally and they had to reschedule the rally to not reschedule, but move it to a place that could handle the bigger crowd. The crowd is going nuts, like a 2016 Trump crowd. She has this line that she keeps repeating about how, when she was a prosecutor, she took on these for-profit colleges that ripped off their students, and Donald Trump paid $25 million in fines for his rip-off for-profit college. When she was a prosecutor, she took on people who cheated the system for their own benefit. Donald Trump has 34 felony convictions for cheating the system for his own benefit. When she was a prosecutor, she took on, she specialized in sexual abusers, and Donald Trump has $100 million worth of fines for his sexual abuse convictions. She says, I know people like Donald Trump, and I've beaten people like Donald Trump before. And the crowd goes fucking ballistic. She's killing it. The internet's filled with coconuts because of her silly little coconuts thing. I don't know what. It's like they turned a negative into a positive because that coconut thing is objectively silly.
Don't even know what you're talking about. You really
you will. You're going to see coconut merch. You're going to see coconuts fucking everywhere. It means Kamala, and she is crushing it.
And rally. From like 4 or 6 hours
don't know
ago.
Where it was, yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty full high school gymnasium. Saying this is like on par with
mic drop.
Like
actually, Trump's not
2016 Trump was 2016 Trump was like fucking Metallica.
This week he filled a sports stadium.
Listen, I'm telling the story. Stop it. I'll tell the way I want to.
Dude, they're trying so hard to make Kamala cool.
Did she flex on all the marijuana prosecutions?
Trump. She's winning in every national poll right now. At least the new ones. If you drag out the ones that lasted like 2 weeks or the ones from before, she like was really the person, because people were divided. Some wanted Kamala, half dozens of us wanted Buttigieg. Some people wanted Cooper. Some people wanted Kelly. I forget the other names.
Whitmer.
Whitmer's a big one. Newsom's a big one. Yeah.
I'd rather have The Rock than some of those people.
Now, oh my gosh, dude, it's fucking Kamala crazy on the internet. And Donald Trump, he's hilarious to watch right now with his boomer Karen energy complaining. I'd like to see a manager. I want refunds on all the effort I put into Dark Brandon.
He's in his own universe.
Yeah,
right?
You're in your own world on this.
You guys are in your own world. The Reuters poll. What Reuters is not like.
Well, you're fired up about it. That's all that matters.
Reuters is the like premier unbiased news organization, right? No one calls them biased except for fucking idiots.
Who?
And they said Kamala's leading in the polls right now. So I'm loving it. There's a whole new coat of paint on the Democrat. It has been no fun to be Team Blue for like 3 weeks. I'm trying to think. It started at debates, right? The debates, Trump had a much better debate than Biden did. And then it was just all Trump all the time for 3 weeks, probably peaking at when he got his ear pierced by the fellow Republican, grabbed his high heels and ran off stage. But then the best thing, like the first piece of good news for the Democratic team was when Trump took the stage and he had this meandering ramble, 90 minutes of debate.
And all those independent Democrats heard that and they were like, and then the Republicans heard it and they were like, I'm voting for a woman, a black woman. That was
the first piece of good news that the Democrats had, Trump taking the stage.
You say that, but think about what you're saying. why would that help the Democrats if Donald Trump has a bad speech? Who from the right is going to say it was anyone who's tuned in and watching 90 minutes of an RNC speech with Donald Trump? They're not looking to be swayed. They're members of the cult. They're in the choir.
There's hardly anyone looking to be swayed.
That was a long one. Can you believe?
When Trump gets the opportunity, this is like a State of the Union for a candidate, right? This is his opportunity to get some eyeballs on him. Democrats are watching him. I did. Republicans are watching him for sure. The idea that the only people watching him are unpersuadable.
It was 90 minutes.
Is off target. It was boring. It was the longest fucking speech in the history of any nomination for since the 60s ever. I don't know. It was terrible. It was long and it was meandering, and it had all the energy of the Beach Boys singing California Girls for the 3,000th time, and it was all his same like complaints about elections being stolen and other random bullshit filled with lies, the standard Trump lies he always tells that aren't supposed to be lies, right? They're kind of like jokes, I think. Yeah, so Trump didn't do himself any favors at the RNC, and you can't find anyone who says he did. It has finally been fun.
Well, I'm glad you guys won. I'm happy for you.
I'm glad we went to 200. I'm psyched.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm still pretty confident here. It just doesn't.
Too.
I think she's got. Are you mad at me or something?
No, I'm not mad at all. I swear.
You're being rude.
That's probably true. Sorry.
You're like jumping in on the tail of like my words with are you like you want to fight or something.
I said me too. I mean, you said I'm glad. I said me too. That's kind of hitting it back. It's not
okay.
Jumping.
Well, I know it's been rough for you guys for a while. I think that Kamala is a terrible candidate. I think there's a reason that she got trounced in that primary process back in whatever year it was when her and Tulsi and Joe were on stage, and they're trying to see who's the most racist amongst those three, and Kamala's calling Joe a racist, and Tulsi's calling Kamala a racist, and it's ridiculous. I don't think she's a good candidate. I see the framing from the left is that Donald is running from a debate with her, or when they see that
Lacey's done it.
Yeah, or they made fun of Trump's VP Vance because he said he was upset that he wasn't going to get to debate her. It's like, why are you making fun of him? He was going to debate her and now he's not. You're going to have this like really well-spoken guy talk to someone who has trouble with sentences and, talking to people. Every speech I've ever seen from her was pretty rough. I remember that Space Force addressal or whatever you want to call it. Like that was crazy.
Space affects us all.
I remember when she was talking there was a school bus behind her. I don't know who she was talking to. It's possible she was talking to like preschool kids. And if that's the case, then she nailed it.
No, that was MIT.
She's like, who doesn't love a big yellow school bus?
Dude, I think she's had some klutzy things. The coconut thing, which I'm sure you'll get exposed to soon, to me was lame. The montage of today unbeholden by tomorrow,
unburdened by today from yesterday's sorrows or some shit.
I get it. I don't like that one. I think she thinks it's clever, but I don't think you'll see her say it again. But today's thing, she's killed. People are taking snippets of it. They're going viral on the internet. Everyone's excited. Not everyone, of course.
She has bad cadence. Like the speeches I've watched from her cadence is very bad, and she puts the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable in the way she's speaking, and does a very insincere Hillary Clinton-esque panic laugh way too often. And so I agree that, dude, the Democrats have so many better people. And like Kamala, she just sucks. She doesn't inspire. There's a reason they kept her, under a blanket the past 4 years. She doesn't pull well with people.
She's been working on the border, Taylor. That was her.
I think what happens is the blue team is thirsty for someone, and they gave her Kamala, and they're excited. I agree that I don't know about the cadence thing. That's how I see Trump. Donald Trump is always doing this sing-songy, like wavy up and down cadence thing that I find unappealing, but some people love it. I can't ignore that. He's popular with less than half the nation, but almost half. But Kamala, I don't see the cadence thing. I do see the laugh thing. Trump's first nickname for her was Laughing Harris.
Laughing Kamala.
No, Laughing Harris. And I'm like, cackling Kamala was right there. Right. And he went with Laughing Harris. I think you're losing your branding, dude. But are
they going to debate? Or
Trump has twice said he doesn't want to He thinks it's ABC's not fair, that he wants to have it on Fox. Fox, for the record, spent almost $1 billion in fines for lies on Trump's benefit. So, like, that's
CNN gave the questions to Hillary, and Trump went into the lion's den,
and it's not on CNN. It's ABC.
CNN, I know, but I'm just saying, like these. Trump's had it the same. What Trump's been cheated through these things as well. And Trump did the last debate, like going into the lion's den in a format that we all sat here and we're like, oh my God, he's fucked. He's ruined. They're going to make him actually talk. They're not going to let him interrupt and joust. And he went in there and destroyed and won. And in the most landslided, lopsided presidential debate in presidential history. And he's like, all right, won that one. They're like, hey, you beat our guy so bad he died almost. So we've got a backup guy, though. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. And same rules, right? He's like, no. Now we'll come play at my house. I like it. I don't think that it's him running away or being cowardice.
It's so weak. He wants to go to Fox News because he's scared of the rules he already agreed to. It looks like President Pussy Pants. Like I see that a lot from him, but he's just trying to out of this.
No,
debate.
Remember,
I'm not sure they'll
former president.
Oh, I'm sorry, former
Poopy Pants. Yeah, your visceral hatred of him is so boundless that like I don't know if you can interpret anything he does without being very negative about it. Like
I hear you, but like to me, I'm seeing him for what he is, right? Like, dude, the Epstein phone logs didn't change anybody's mind. Like at this point, I keep saying it. Trump could rape a child on Fifth Avenue, and his supporters would still back him.
A Russian child?
Trump was like, he's going to hand over Ukraine to Russia at this point, which I know Taylor likes, but it's against my moral code.
A lot of people do want us out of that war.
Yeah, I don't
for sure.
I don't like a lot of things about Trump, but I do absolutely despise all the things about the other side. And a lot of the people who are so pretentiously like shoot him down and treat him like shit and call anyone who supports him a worthy of death loon who's a deplorable or whatever, like the way they painted his supporters with one brush. And you're going to have a hard time getting me on board with a marijuana prosecutor who sent 1,500 people to prison for marijuana crimes. And then when when they asked her if she smoked marijuana, she giggled and laughed about it. Someone who had someone sitting on death row and had evidence that clearly they were innocent and waited till her hand was forced to let them out of prison.
I get you. I don't like that marijuana prosecution thing, but I mean, marijuana prosecution was like going away under Obama, and Trump brought it back.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to consider that his strength.
It's what she does, though. It's her bread and butter. Like it was her thing. So it's a whole different scenario. And also, like, Trump's just, if anything, he's sticking with his ideals with any sort of marijuana policy he has. He's fucking straight edge over there. I mean, he's got his cold pills, but he doesn't drink and he doesn't smoke weed. He doesn't smoke weed. He's definitely not cool enough to smoke weed.
I think he doesn't smoke weed because he likes to look down on it. Maybe like that's my vibe for Trump. Like or maybe he does. I think it's maybe just straight edge, like a health thing, perhaps. I don't know. It's hard to see him as a health nut, but there's a reason he doesn't smoke and drink, and I just have to bundle marijuana into the same sort of line of thinking.
Maybe,
which is not a hate thing at all.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm concerned about Joe. Where is Joe? I want to know how he's doing and how he's running the country right now and keeping us all safe. How is the federal government being led by right now?
Dude, yeah, he hasn't been running the country for years, dude. Everyone knows this now.
I'm thrilled with the way the country's being run. Like, I genuinely am. I saw Pete Buttigieg tweet. So there was that freaking CrowdStrike thing, and Delta Airlines was having trouble. Buttigieg gets on the air. We have received reports of continued disruptions and unacceptable customer service conditions at Delta. Delta must provide prompt refunds to consumers who choose not to take rebooking, free rebooking for those who do, and timely reimbursements for food and hotel stays to consumers affected by these delays and cancellations, as well as adequate customer service. No one should be stranded at an airport overnight or stuck on hold for hours waiting to talk to a customer service agent. If any airline fails to honor its customer service requirements, let us know. He gives a URL to contact the government. This didn't exist before the Biden administration. They would just give you, they'd be like, sorry, I got canceled, not my fault. Have a fuck off and bite me. And that was the end of it. Or maybe they give you like 3 miles at best, some future flight, to get you to take their thing again, probably that you have to upgrade. Now, consumer service has been fixed at airlines. Airlines are the people who pay for their mistakes. That's how the country's being run.
Although all the airlines were all shut down at once, that's the whole reason that refunds were a problem. So like none of the planes were moving, but don't worry, we'll get you a refund on time and it'll be cash.
It didn't used to be. It used to be the consumers got screwed.
Oh, I'm aware. I remember when Biden signed the order or whatever. It's only been a couple months. It feels like
this is like such it's a good thing, but it's the teeniest, tiniest little thing to like hang your hat on as far as like how the country's going.
What's her name? I'm going to mispronounce her name, but I enjoy that. Sotomayor. Is that it?
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, she's super anti-gun, and then this week a carjacker attacked her, and her Secret Service agent murdered him to death with a gun. and it's like,
not for me.
Don't you love that?
Dude, it would be better still if her Secret Service agent beat him with a club. Like, all right, proved her point.
He drew his sword in the middle of the highway. Little did the pep know that he had an adamantium shield. He's just like, the bullets are dinging off.
Yeah. Right. Little did the perp know that Justice Sotomayor's agent had already called a peaceful social worker, a 22-year-old girl fresh out of college, to talk him down.
Hi, I hear there's some conflict that needs resolving.
He's not answering. He's gibbering a lot of things.
Gibbering. No, it's just a random carjacker. Apparently, wasn't motivated by anything political. They said, which I'm always worried about because the Supreme Court has become so politicized, whether it's their own fault or not. But it'd suck if someone from either side, any of those guys, got. You should leave those people alone. I don't know. I like this country's been real stable politically my whole life, and I kind of got used to that. And I am a little worried that Trump might overindulge because,
imagine if one of the parties in power was like really vindictive towards the the head guy of the other party.
Trump is guilty. Like no one ever argues that he's innocent. They always argue that they shouldn't. They argue that
they were doing.
They argue that. Anything. They'll argue that the timing is funky, that he's immune to prosecute. They never say he didn't do it.
I'm sure if you look into any real estate magnate, you can find stuff. But like they were hitting him for shit like, oh, Mar-a-Lago's only worth 18 million. My ass, it's worth 18 million.
He tripled the size of his apartment. The thing was like 10,000 square feet. He claimed it was over 30,000 square feet.
He's counting the roof, Woody.
That still wouldn't do it.
Build a couple levels up there, a little patio hanging off the side. What's your problem? Get creative.
I just don't see, like, I don't care about him lying on even the bank he purportedly did lie to, because he did make that up.
You care about the sexual assault where he pinned that woman up against the wall and finger banged her?
Yeah, there's a lot of discrepancies in you're talking about the woman who went on CNN with Anderson Cooper and they had to cut the interview short because she talked about how it was sexy and she was like clearly not fully with it. That woman whose story mirrored that of a CSI episode, who posted on Facebook that she was a fan of Trump's years after the purported incident.
This same story since long before that CSI episode. She's been telling it since the beginning. She told her family, her friends, etc. She cried to her mom and her best friends about what happened to her. There's freaking people testify from the department store that it happened. Like it happened.
They've thrown so much shit at him and so much of it has not stuck that my default is almost now like, oh, of course they're throwing more nonsense at him. Like that, oh, they tried this 13-year-old thing right before the election, and then that fell to ashes.
Did you see that girl's testimony? It's on YouTube. It is compelling. Yeah. And then they started going at her, and she said, fuck it, it's not worth it. Why am I going after Trump? Like, she has everything to lose and nothing to gain.
They have, I'm sure there's a lot to gain, but it doesn't matter in that as a viewer of it, they have lied and made so much shit up.
But you haven't seen it
now. I have
but
no.
You know that it's false. Okay.
No. I was saying that this is the same story they rolled out right before the 2016 election, and then it became nothing immediately afterward. You remember that, right? Where they were like,
"This is 2005." This testimony, like, I don't think it's from right before the 16.
No, it was rolled out as a big news story, like the final last gasp to try and ruin him. I remember that specifically.
It's rolling out again right now.
Yeah,
it becomes relevant as he becomes relevant. And then his interview with Howard Stern is like getting traction again, where he said that he liked to go behind stage at the Miss Teen USA pageant because he's inspecting it. You should hear his audio. He's obviously creeping about it. Or the time he was on the escalator when he talked to that 10-year-old girl and said she'd be dating him in 10 years. Like, this is creepy.
That is creepy. That's a fun joke. I like the 10-year-old joke.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's a self-deprecating joke if you think like Trump, though. He's saying, like, that's what I do is
very generous interpretation of hitting.
Well, nobody thinks 10-year-olds are hot. Even if Trump, you believe the Epstein nonsense. Oh, come on. He wasn't asking Epstein for 10-year-olds. It's documented. Woody, he liked him 13, 14.
All right.
Checkmated, my friend.
I can't win them all.
Yeah.
I mean, there were 15 or 20 million killed.
They've done so. I say 30. I say 30 million. Yeah. And I could be wrong about all of it. He could have done all of it. But at this point, they've spent almost a 10-year period making shit up.
Personality aspect of Trump. Like, no one made up that he said you can grab women by the pussy. That's his audio. No one made up this thing about the 10-year-old's going to date him in 10 years. Like, no one made up the flight logs of him being on Epstein's plane. No one made up all logs of him going back and forth to Epstein. This shit isn't made up. It's factually evidence. What happened is they released the Epstein court documents recently, which is putting it in the news again.
Let's do the Billy Bush thing. When you heard him say, you could just grab him by the pussy and they let you do it. Like, when he did that whole speech, and this also comes down to like a not charitable interpretation from your part. Like, I agree that the 10-year-old comment is pretty fucking creepy, but that was clearly a dude trying to seem cool and like, oh yeah, I'm a billionaire. I fuck all the time. Women love me. They know me. I'm Trump. I got hotels. Look at me. Like, he was bloviating and talking big, and they pretended as though that was him being like, yeah, I'm a serial criminal. I'm out there grabbing people, and they say stop. And then I go, no. And I keep like,
I thought that's what he did. I think he actually goes around and, like, maybe not as regularly, but like he's grabbed a few. You know what I mean? You know how you like do something like 3 times and you're like, bro, trust me, I'm all the time doing backflips. In your head, you're like, I mean, I made the last 2.
Taylor's argument. Well, Taylor asked me a question. So the thing that when they deposed him for the Eugene Carroll thing and said, hey, this thing that says here that you can just grab women by the pussies because you're a star. And he's like, well, historically they do let you do that. That's true. You might not like it. You maybe will, but yeah, you can do that. So, like, was he bloviating and pumping his own tires? Yeah, possibly. That'd be a charitable interpretation, but not a wild one. But then when they deposed him and he doubled down, it's sort of hard to look at it as this is just a guy being
He did say they let you do it.
But I'm really not saying that his let him do it, grabbing him by the pussy is the problem. I'm saying it lends towards who this man is.
I have no doubt. See, this is what I dislike about Trump a lot, is that he's clearly a creep in a lot of ways, but they have made up so much shit.
They didn't make
now
it the Epstein call.
We'll see what happens with the Epstein thing. If they come out and you see real deal shit with that.